Hello everyone, I am Xenospectre and welcome back to another episode of Gran Turismo. In the last episode, we completed the GT World Cup series, and I need to make a correction. We did not get the FTO Racing Edition car from completing that series. Instead, apparently you unlock something called a Hi-Fi mode from that series. If I can find where that is, I will show it off later in the series, maybe in a bonus video or something. So in this episode, we are going to start on the Grand Valley 300. In other words, we are starting our first endurance race in the series. Which this is going to be interesting to see how well I can talk. Well, hopefully. We don't need, I didn't even look at the car list. We don't need to qualify because that's just adding time. Starting lineup, we got the R32, NSX, Castro Supra, the Impreza's back, and the Evil 4. Let's start this race. "60 laps, endurance race, where we also need to remember to pit. That's why the tire things is there in this race. Blue, the color tells you how good your tires are. And my concern is that the drifting that my cars seem to do. But obviously blue is when your tires are like completely healthy. Alright, so this is already getting kinda crazy. I probably should have switched to hard tires. See, now they're going green. Green and blue is when your tires are really good. Let's hope eventually I can put some space between me and these other cars. We probably don't want to drift too much. Just still right there behind me. It'll be important to see where the pits are. It's right there, okay. We're gonna have to have a pattern of when we want to pit for consistency purposes. We're also going to want to pay attention to how often the other cars pit. And we'll want to try to stay on the road as much as possible. The interesting thing is going to be how well I control the car when the tires get more rare on them. Because, you know, as the tires wear down, it's going to become harder to handle. So let's see when these cars pit. They probably won't pit through the first 3 laps. It'll probably be like I'm assuming they'll be around like lap 6 or 7 when they start pitting. We do not want to go that far. Alright. Did that turn decently? Get off the grass, please. That Skyline's keeping up so far. As far as I know, it's the Skyline. You never know. It could be the NSX. Was there an NSX in the starting lineup? I don't completely remember. Don't go off. We're on lap 4. That turn was pretty good. See, we're still in green for the tires. Oop. Didn't take that turn great. As you can tell, it seems like the AI controlled vehicles are starting to struggle a bit, which eventually we will begin to start also having our own issues. That section vector is always an anxious one for me because I know how much problems I've had with that section. We're still in green. We're on lap 5. I'm just gonna say it right now that I will not be pitting until I see the other cars pitting. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this GTO is supposedly the best car in this game. Almost ran into the wall there. Kind of took that turn badly. As you can see, as we go through the race and our tires get more rare, it becomes a bit harder to turn with like each lap. Kind of main thing about endurance races is the tires. At least until I believe Gran Turismo 5 is when they started making you have to also watch how much gas your car has in endurance races. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case, because I'm not sure if Gran Turismo 4 had that mechanic. They still haven't pitted. As you can see on the suspension map chassis thing, you can see our tires are starting to go into the bright green area, or yellow green area, yellowish green. I hit the wall there, kinda. I can feel the turning getting harder as the race goes on. So hopefully we're getting closer to the AI's pitting. We will not be pitting yet. There will the AI cars. It's getting harder to do these hairpin turns. It's starting to feel harder to turn. I remember when I was younger, when I used to play this game, I remember that's when I started liking the GTO a lot, because it turned like with no problem. It made this game really easy. In which the GTO has a US counterpart, or maybe North American counterpart, called the 3000 GT. And it's one of my favorite cars that has ever existed. I like the Lancers and Eclipse and the GTO and the FTOs. Mitsubishi used to make really cool cars. Now they don't really make like cool cars like that anymore. The tires are wearing more, so it's feeling harder to turn. Will the AI start pitting yet? That's the real question. Come on, get back on track. Yeah, that turn right there felt really hard to get around. Ooh, that turn's rough with tires that have wear on them. Well, the AI's pit yet? I think this is around the time they usually do. I'm not going to yet. They're also not going to yet. Trying to do these turns. Oh. Oh yeah, it's feeling harder and harder to turn. As you can see on the wheels on that graph chart, whatever, they are starting to go into yellow territory. They're very bright green right now. Interesting that it seems like the front tires are more green, more brighter green than the back tires, considering this is a four-wheel drive vehicle. The AI still have not pitted. They're making it interesting. They're basically making it where I'm having to start considering pitting before then. I expected they would go into the pits by now. But I'm going to be stubborn and still not go until they do. Do this turn. I'm putting more and more space between us and them. Let's go in for another lap. Don't spin out. Are they gonna pit yet? They still have not decided to go into the pit. It looks like we're gonna have to play the long game with going into the pits. Our front tires are starting to go into yellow territory. And as you can tell, the car is getting harder to turn. Oh boy. Don't do that. Let's get on to lap 12. And okay, so that is where I'm going to call this episode. We started doing the Grand Valley 300K endurance race, or 300-kilometer endurance race. And in the next episode, we will continue doing this endurance race. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.